Hey everybody, sorry I can't be there tonight. I'm battling something pretty nasty here at home, and it's round two of it. So I really hope none of you guys get this or have any family members that come down with whatever this is. I think I need a refund on my flu shot this year, that's for sure. But anyways, I'd like to thank Jason for representing us and going through this presentation without me. We thought about doing this as a live feed, but the thought of that awkward moment when I have to run off of run off of camera. And then the awkward pause for everybody in the room, we decided to skip that. So I'll just get right into this as, I guess, the hypothetical role of executive managing director. Pretty much everything Jason has talked about so far is primarily geared towards the day-to-day operations, the employee morale, employee retention, just the job function that the average Epstein employee has. So what I want to talk about is kind of the long-term investment, and it still impacts employee retention, and it's more about making Epstein a place that somebody can afford to spend an entire career. So what I mean by afford to spend an entire career is that currently our 401k matching plan is 10% up to 3%. So what I did is I guess my proposal here is that we immediately implement a 401k program that matches up to 4% of an employee's contributions. So what I did was I took an informal poll of friends and former colleagues who are in the engineering, architecture, AEC industry as a whole, and I asked them basically what their companies do for 401k matching. And results varied typically between 2% and 6%. So what I'm going to use for this comparison is a 4% matching, just hypothetically. So what I did here is I've got this website called bankrate.com, where you can just plug in the numbers and see the time value of money. So this is what I've got on the screen is I plugged in a 28-year-old employee who gets hired. They have nothing in their 401k balance. They want to retire at the age of 65. So they're going to spend their entire 37-year career at Epstein, which I think should be the goal for this. And then their starting salary is $75,000. They're going to contribute 5% straight off the top to their 401k annually. Over their 37-year career, they'll have average of a 3.5% salary increase. I guess that includes cost of living increases, promotions, raises, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to get a 10% return on their 401k, so that's an aggressive 401k growth. And then down here is what we currently have at Epstein, the 10% match on up to 3%. So over that 37-year career, at the end, that employee retires with $1.96 million in their 401k. So for comparison, I did the same thing, same employee, with a 100% match up to 4%. So after 37 years, that employee, their retirement account is worth a little under $3.5 million. The delta there is about a little less than $1.4 million. And so the opportunity cost and the definition, which I had up on the screen here, basically choosing to spend an entire career at Epstein currently versus spending it at a place that has a 401k matching program. The opportunity cost would be that value, that 1.4 million approximately, minus the total value of the ESOP. So I think for this hypothetical situation, we've seen what the ESOP value has done over the past 10 years. This has been a really good growth year from 2016 to 2017. And opportunity cost would be, who knows how much that value of each ESOP share is going to be worth it at the end of 37 years. I think the downside of the ESOP, though, is that all of the eggs are in the same basket. And that basket is predicated upon the performance of not only Epstein, but the construction, the AEC industry as a whole. So you're trying to time somebody's, like if I'm a 60-something-year employee and I'm trying to time my retirement, trying to optimize my ESOP value. And I know that we've got some ESOP options where we can take money out early. We can diversify, I think, after a certain point. But ultimately, it's a high-risk proposition. So I think what the 401k matching 4% up or up to 4%, does is it really mitigates that and allows somebody's employment or their retirement monies to be completely, or I guess, more diversified and safer from kind of what their day-to-day operations are. So the first example I used was pretty extreme. I used extreme numbers to show that. So I'm going to just do one real quickly here. And this is a 7% growth rate over a 32-year period. So this person isn't working quite as long. And then everything else is pretty much the same. Their annual salary increase is only 2%. As you can see, that's $563 after 32 years. And then this one is with the full 100% match up to 4%. And that's worth $956,000. Delta there is about 400,000. So we had 1.4 million and we had 400,000. This would be the more conservative example. So I think probably the truth is somewhere in between there. Reality, I guess, at the end of 32 or 37 years. But the bottom line is that I'm trying to show that it does come down to the bottom line, and that is making a choice to stay at Epstein for an entire career. As it currently stands, is a difficult proposition to make when you're looking at it, just from a pure financial perspective. So, real quickly, the total cost of implementing this type of program, I guess it would be 4%, up to 4% of payroll, less than or equal to 4%, or if it was 3%, whatever that number is. And then how to implement it. I don't know all the details of how to implement a 401k program, but I'm sure those can be figured out pretty quickly. I have collected a lot of data, at least on employee retention and the long-term benefits of having the 401k matching program. So I'm sorry I can't be there to answer questions tonight, but if you are interested, please drop me a note. Don't get too close. All right, bye everybody.